Welcome to Franklin High School. Today we honor all of our valedictorians for the class of 2022. This will be our 112th graduation at Franklin High School. We want to thank you for attending today, and we look forward to our speeches from our valedictorians. Mr. Eubanks.
Our first valedictorian for the class of 2022 is Nick Swee.
Hi. There are many terrifying things in our world. I'm personally afraid of aliens, car crashes, and clusters of small holes, to name a few. But you know what shouldn't be scary to anybody? Talking to and meeting new people. One of my friends and I recently shared a conversation about how much more sociable we have been in the last few weeks of school, how much better it's been, and most importantly, how easy it was. When I first moved over here in 8th grade, talking to and meeting new people seemed like such a daunting task, and having a simple conversation with someone I didn't know was really scary to me for some reason. And for me personally, I've grown to be much more outgoing compared to when I first came to Tennessee. And in the past year, this development has been significantly greater than in my first years of high school. I started buying and wearing clothes I actually liked and wanted to wear. I talked to whoever I wanted to and didn't talk to whoever I didn't want to. I tried putting myself out there more, trying new things that I typically wouldn't, and I took more risks. I don't mean to say I tried dangerous things, which I don't condone that. I just stopped worrying so much about what other people might think of me. And in my last year of high school, I also tried a new practice that whenever I had to choose between two options, I'd choose the one that I'd regret the least. And all of this has led me to meet so many of the great and awesome people among us in the class of 2022. It took me essentially 3 years to figure out that it's really not that hard to talk to people. If I could go back in time and talk to my freshman self, I'd ask myself, what is there to be afraid of? High school was a long, difficult, and tedious 4 years, and I never want to go through it again. But in the end, there's many people who I'm never going to see again. And in the last few weeks of school, I realized that I was trying to make every moment last. And to any shy, meek, or timid people that hear this who want to change, don't let any of your years go to waste like I did, and ask yourself, what is there to be afraid of? Thank you.
Our next valedictorian for the class of 2022, Miss Emily Taylor.
It feels odd to me that these past 4 years are simply being summed up in one afternoon and just a graduation ceremony, and really, if you think about it, just the piece of paper that we get handed. For me, high school has been so complex and long and hard and definitely awkward, and I just can't comprehend how it'll all come down to just walking across a stage and shaking someone's hand. I feel as though we often get caught up in pushing for the future and worrying about what we'll do next, whether it's what college we'll go to, if we'll pass a class. But really, I think these last moments should be about celebrating where we are now and remembering how we got here. Because the thing is, this is all about more than just earning a diploma. Although not always pleasant, our high school experiences are things that we will always look back on. The late night studying, going to Starbucks before school, trying not to fall asleep in a boring class, these small things have all defined these years. In the future, we'll even look back and laugh at a stupid joke we pulled on friends or think fondly of a teacher that impacted us. Maybe even one day we'll be showing our kids our little yearbooks and pointing out all our different friends and telling old stories. But the thing is, I did the math, and high school is only about 5% of our lives, just 4 years. And I feel like no other 5% of our lives has a greater impact than these 4 years. The amount of growth I've seen in my peers is incredible. I've watched people learn who they are, how they want to express themselves, and probably my mom's favorite is learning how to drive. But really, some of the most profound memories I have will always be from high school and the different communities I was part of. I have always felt so welcomed and included in the class of 2022, and I feel that along with my peers, I've grown so much. So whether good or bad, these years still impact you. Because although the diploma is important, the journey we've taken and the experiences that have impacted us matter much more. They're what's changed us and what we'll look back on in years to come. Just to end, I'd like to thank everyone who's impacted me and helped me in my experience, all my friends, my teachers, and my family. Thank you.
Our next valedictorian for the class of 2022, Mr. Russell Worsetsky.
Last Tuesday, I was walking to my 8th period, which is over in the annex, and as I was walking, I realized that this would be the last time I would ever take that walk, a trip I've probably taken over 2,000 times in the last 4 years. In a few short months, I'll be walking somewhere else. As we all leave high school behind, we are experiencing a serious change in our lives. Because of this, I'd like to take a few minutes to reflect on the nature of change. When our surroundings change, people are incredibly quick to adapt. Our minds have the unique ability to get used to the changes around us. After a week of summer, it feels perfectly normal to not have school for months. Likewise, after the school year starts, I get used to my new classes and schedule incredibly quickly. Many of us experiences changes like this throughout the year. Whether it's the ending of a season of sports or the closing of a musical, our brain's interpretation of change remains the same. I believe that this adaptability will prove invaluable as we continue our lives. College may seem daunting, but it's comforting knowing how fast we will become used to it. Although our surroundings change often, what's harder to change is ourselves. The author Leo Buscalis once said that change is the end result of all true learning. Change is the only way we can become better people. As we go through life, there is always room for growth, room to strive, not for perfect, but for better. I believe that the idea of human adaptability applies to this interchange as well. Although changing ourselves may be hard at first, if we persist, the change will become habit as our minds adapt, and what was once difficult becomes second nature. This is one of the great strengths of the human mind, so remember to use it. I'd like to conclude by thanking some of the people who helped me change into the person I am today. I'd like to thank my parents for showing me what it means to be a good person, my teachers for always pushing me to learn and explore, and for answering my incessant questions, and my friends for being there on this journey through high school. We have reached our destination, but we must never forget how we got here. Thank you.
Our next valedictorian for the class of 2022 is Miss Abby Webb.
Graduates of the class of 2022, I'm so grateful to be speaking to you. I'm honored to be at the top of the class, even though sometimes I'm a pain. Oh, sorry. That was the version of my speech I sent to Dr. Pantal last night, to which he responded, "You can't say any of that." Good evening to the class of 2022, family and friends of graduates, Franklin High faculty and staff, and distinguished guests. I consider it a great honor to stand on the Franklin High stage one final time, representing the Franklin High School Fine Arts Department, as we celebrate the accomplishments, life lessons, and dumb jokes we've all shared over the last 4 years, as we close the curtain on an unforgettable high school experience. Graduates, I know a lot of us probably didn't think we'd make it to this day, but here we are, preparing to walk across the stage into the next act, knowing that the memories we have made here will forever bond us together. Whether you are staying local, traveling as far as the West Coast or even Europe, continuing on to higher education, enlisting in the military, going to trade school, or entering the workforce, the scene is set for you to capture every dream your mind can imagine. I would like to take a moment to thank a couple of people who have guided me throughout these last 4 years. Ms. Womack for always being a calm voice during chaos, Dr. Leggett for loving us as much as she loves Denzel, Ms. Brzina for allowing her office to constantly be a safe space, my amazing director and second mother, Blandina Vergara Cruz, my wonderful friends and second family at Expression City, my best friend and sister Ava, and of course, my incredibly supportive parents who have stuck by my side through thick and thin. I love you guys so much, and thank you for everything you have done for me. When reflecting on our time at Franklin, it is easy to remember the late-night essays, ACT cram sessions, and collectively failing Miss Harmon's first AP practice exams. However, outside of the classroom is where our high school experience truly flourished, from ball games and senior sunrises to seeing our classmates and even our school blow up on TikTok. We lived every moment in and out of quarantine to its fullest. Though this fall, we won't be starting each day with a cheesy joke or a reminder to stay funky, we will wake each morning as the incredible adults Franklin High has modeled us into. Looking out at all of you, or as I was writing this, looking at the FHS decisions page, I see strong, resilient, and incredible people. A group of students who can turn obstacles into opportunities, who can survive a global pandemic and pass geometry all before the age of 18. People who can program robotic dogs, perform their hearts out, create moving works of art, throw touchdown passes, solve complex equations, and start successful businesses. Graduates, I am so proud to be a small part of this incredible class, and I cannot wait to see what amazing things you will do in this next stage of life. I would like to leave you all with a quote from C.S. Lewis. There are far, far better things ahead than we leave behind. Though today is our final day as Franklin Admirals, there's a bright future ahead for every single one of us. So, as we leave here today, celebrate what we have accomplished and look forward to what incredible things you have yet to achieve. Congratulations, class of 2022.
Next valedictorian for the class of 2022 is Mr. Jim Williams.
Life hurts. People come and go. Things don't always go the way you want, and time will never stop for you. But life isn't about avoiding pain. It's about making that pain worth it. This is why I want to challenge all of you to have grit. Grit is defined as passion and perseverance for long-term and meaningful goals. Let's break that down. Passion is not just something you care about. It is something you wake up and fall asleep thinking about. It isn't something you want free of charge, but something that will require pain and sacrifice that you willingly accept. I'm sure all of us wouldn't mind having it all, whatever that may look like for you, but that isn't what life is about. Most of us will not have a perfect life, where every step of the way is the best it could be. We will make mistakes in addition to outside forces pushing against us. But that is why grit is so important. When you choose to live a life of grit, you are choosing to follow your passion. You are choosing to work toward that goal which you hold most dearly. You focus on that goal, which is most important to you. People with grit feel satisfied with their lives because all they want to, can, and do is think about that passion. Perseverance is the next component of grit. We all know you should have perseverance, but I want to encourage you to not only have it, but to focus on it. Perseverance is persistence in doing something despite the difficulty or delay in success. Persistence goes hand in hand with passion. If you truly find that passion, which your life revolves around, then you will want to live every day of your life in that. The key part of perseverance that makes persistence difficult is that delay in success. But there is something special about grit that almost bypasses this. You will have to remember that your goal is not an endpoint. You should not want to get somewhere, because things change. Maybe you will realize that the place you thought you wanted to be is not all that great. Maybe you will get there and feel lost, not knowing where to go, not caring about going anywhere else. Or maybe you will never get there and feel defeated. Instead of thinking of your goal as somewhere you want to be, think about it as a direction you want to go. Your passion should not be a place you aren't, because you cannot truly enjoy something you don't even have. Your passion should be a way of life, almost a life philosophy. Your goal is the life you want to live, and you work toward that by bettering yourself. There is no end to a goal like this, which means there is no delay in success because success is not at the end. Instead, success is what you achieve every day you work toward your goal. Every day where you get better is the passion which you care about so much. You have to make this your reason to live. Not where you want to be, but where you are going from where you started. A very influential coach of mine said that champions don't lose, they just run out of time. Of course, you may not win every battle, but that's not the goal. The goal is something more. It is the direction you are working toward, the life you want to live. Losing a battle can still bring you closer to your goal if you learn from it. With grit, you truly can take whatever you make from failure, so you turn that failure into success. Not success 20 years from now, not when you get that first place medal or that job promotion or hit that milestone, but when you are on that path you choose to be on. When you know what path you want to take, with all its joy and sorrow. You choose the path where you know what pain it brings, because when you choose to live with that pain you know you will face, that pain will be worth it. And if that pain is worth it, then you can only begin to imagine what everything else is worth. Thank you, and God bless.
I would like to recognize two more valedictorians that were not present with us today, Mr. Jay Anisi and Miss Lillian Shee. We certainly cannot dismiss their efforts and accomplishments to reach this goal. In closing, it takes an amazing attitude and tremendous amount of time and effort to be confirmed valedictorian here at Franklin High School. The world now awaits the talents of these individuals. Congratulations to you all.